Hello everyone, my name is Jeetu Bhaiya and welcome to all you in my YouTube channel Padho with Jeetu Bhaiya. And today I am this is my day one in which I will tell you how this real system backend and is running. I will teach you all these stuff from scratch to the advanced level in this playlist. This is the day one and I will teach you how is this playlist will going on and what are the what are the syllabus of this test syllabus of this playlist. So let's start with this playlist. Okay, first of all कहते हैं we will do all these networks computer all these will computer networks internet fundamental http typescript postgre mongodb redis authentication queue kafka microservices docker. We will start from the scratch to the advanced level and will cover all the all the stuff which you required for the job any job role. This includes the system design and the other design grafana aws ci pipeline and all of these things. Let's just start with the day one. What is the backend engineering and what is the part of the engineering responsible for building the server side systems that that power application where your applications such as YouTube, Instagram and Amazon, Netflix you interact with the front end, but behind the front end backend system handles things like authorization, APIs, backend logic, database caching, payments, file storage, file quiz or quiz notification search and all of that stuff. Simplified architecture will look like this. User, first of all the user will come and then it will so see the front end of that part and then it will click on the any button, then the API call which reaching to the backend servers and it will include the database redis and the queue. This is the and the front end and this is the front end part, and in the back end part there is the system logic and in the front end part there is the what the user interacts with the that buttons, forms, dashboards, pages, animation, UI components, and common technology, which includes in these days like the React.js and the Next.js are the most advanced backend, most advanced front end trend framework, which are using these in the days in the startups very well. So let's start with the backend. The backend handles the logic behind the applications, authentication, authorization, APIs, business logic, technology we will run. For example, what is the technology we will learn? We will learn Node.js, Node, Node.js, Node.js, TypeScript and कहते हैं PostgreSQL, MongoDB, Redis, Docker, Kubernetes, AWS, all of that things. Let's start. When we click a button, let's take a simple having the कहते हैं let's take a when you click a button of these stuff like this is button. When the front end part, when the front end user click on the button, hello, click on the button. Oh, this is my first video, so don't be hesitated with that. Okay, I am trying to do much as possible. Front end part, when the front end user click on that button, turn clicked on that button, clicked on this button, turn, then this then the API is call, then the API is call which includes the basic stuffs like what is the कहते हैं product ID, which include the JSON format, JSON JSON data, JavaScript object notation which include the JSON data, which include the user ID, what is the user ID, 4 5 6 6 and and what is the name of the user and all of that. Let's say Jeetu Bhaiya, and this API when the clicked, then this when we when the front end part the user click that button, then this API is called, and this API we are having the JSON data, for example user ID name and whatever the API is having. The backend might return, for example it will receive the request, authenticate user, validate request, check product, check inventory, calculate price and create order, process payments and update and send response. The users only sees order placed successfully, but a lot of engineering happened behind the single button. Backend is not the just Node.js or Express. Backend is all about the scalable system and how you maintain the logic behind that. How will you manage 1 million requests per seconds? All of that. A product backend engineer needs to understand backend architecture. For example, it includes the networking database applications. In application it generally use author validation business, and in net networking database will include like networking databases. Networking database include DNS, HTTP and TCP, all of that, IP and indexes, MongoDB indexes, indexes, all of that, and transactions infrastructure. Okay, this series will include the absolute fundamental to the advanced productive system. We will talk about what is the architecture of this system. First, we will having the phase 1 we will having the phase 1 in which I will all you teach you all the computer fundamentals fundamentals fundamentals, like example client server interaction. For example client server interaction for example client server interaction and then IP address, DNS, TCP, IP address, what is IP address, and how internet connect to this, and how internet connect to this, or HTTP methods, HTTP, and all protocols which help in maintaining the backend systems. Okay, now again after that phase 1 we are going to the phase 2. In phase 2 phase 2 okay, in phase 2 full backend fundamentals. What is an API, REST API, HTTP method, HTTP status method, request, middleware, routing, validation, error handling, authorization, and authentication. Main stack, what will be our main stack? Node.js and TypeScript and Express.js. Now we'll come to the phase 3 databases. Phase 3 databases databases in which we will discuss what is the NoSQL database, what is the SQL databases. For example, SQL database includes the PostgreSQL, how are they connected, and what is how we make the tables, rows, relationship, primary keys, foreign keys, joins, indexes, constraints, transactions, and all of that. And NoSQL database includes the MongoDB documents, collections, indexes, and after that we will cover the phase 4, in which the production systems, in which we will know about how we will write the code for the production level, like the open source. I will also teach the how you how you contribute to the open source and get the job and the internship easily. And you all know that that in applying to the internship, applying to the internship with this, applying to internship without without any knowledge of the open source, I think that we all apply to the many of the internships and the jobs, but we do not get the any response from that. But open source is the one things which you will which you will be gain the experience from the real world project, and also make connection to, and also make good connection with the others. So I will also teach that in my later classes, that how to do open source also. And in that phase 4 we will use the Redis caching system, and file uploads, how we manage the uploading files. For example, if the data of the 2 GB will upload, file uploading, how we handle the 2 GB data if the someone will add the 2 GB data to your website, and object storage, email, websockets, what are the websocket, and how they are used in the real world, cron jobs and queues, etc. And then after that we will move to the phase 4 phase 5, in which we will do the advanced backend, that is Kafka, Grafana, which is used for the monitoring the systems, and how the API is working or not, and the RabbitMQ, and the WebSockets, and event driven, and the architecture and the microservices, how we use that, and which helps in the production system, which will help in the production systems. Now the phase 6 will come, in which we will learn about the DevOps part. Phase 6, DevOps part. In DevOps part we will use the AWS Docker Kubernetes, for all of that stuff, which will be help in the production system. EC2, EC3, S3, EC2 machines, S3 machines. And don't worry, I will teach you all how to make the account on the AWS, and how to make the account on the Docker, and how you will use the Docker in the production systems. You don't have to worry about that. I will teach each and everything in easily manner. And the phase 7 will come, in which we will learn about the advanced Kubernetes, which include the containers, pods, deployment services, ingress, and the Kubernetes networking, health checks, rolling, and deployments. And phase 8 will include our observability, that means the logs, matrices. For example, if the any system will broken in the middle part of the production system, then what you will do, then you will check the logs and the matrices, traces on open telemetry, which are the CNCF of the most advanced project. And we use the Grafana and editing, how these API are working with the real system. Okay. Now the distributed system. Now in the phase 9 we use the distributed system, horizontal scaling. Now the, it will come the system design part. It will come the system design part. system design part, in which we will learn horizontal scaling, vertical scaling, load balancing, replications, adding, partitioning, CAP theorem, consistency, availability, fault tolerance, and distributed logs. And that will enough for that. And last part will be our system design with the LLD HLD concepts. HLD and LLD, low level design, LLD and HLD. I will cover all of that, which include the security. And in last, we eventually designed the systems such as URL, Shortness, YouTube, Netflix, Uber, etc. food delivery system. The core philosophy, I don't want to just to learn frameworks. I want to understand what is happening underneath them. So thank you everyone, and we will try to make this make this playlist as much as much fun for you, for your, and I will teach you all of that concept. So from second day, that is the day 2, I will teach you from the basics, that is JavaScript, and then we move on from the phase 1 to phase 2, phase 2 to phase 3, and so on to the last part, that is the system design. Thank you everyone, and make subscribe to our YouTube channel, that is Padho with Jeetu Bhaiya. Thank you everyone.